My son's wife called, "Your country house is sold, dumb old man, bye," so I decided to. The phone call came at 7:42 a.m., too early for good news. "Your country house is sold, dumb old man, bye." Click. For a few seconds I just stared at the screen, her name still glowing there, Megan, my son's wife, or widow if we're being technical. The morning sun leaked through the kitchen blinds, touching the dust on the counter like a spotlight on neglect. I let the words roll around in my head, sold, dumb old man. I wasn't angry yet, just hollow, the kind of emptiness that used to come after funerals. Then it sank in, she'd sold my house, my wife's garden, my orchard, my memories, without a word. So I decided to burn it all down. Not literally, not at first. The country house she mentioned wasn't much, a weathered, two-story farmhouse outside Millersfield with peeling white paint and a porch that sagged in the middle like an old man's smile. It had been in my family for 3 generations. I raised my son Patrick there, buried my wife Ellen in the town cemetery down the road. When Patrick died in that car crash 3 years ago, Megan moved back to the city. She said the house made her sad. I said the same thing about her. We didn't speak much after that. But legally, stupidly, I had signed half the property over to Patrick when he got married. "Build your future," I told him, "start your life." And now she cashed it in. I finished my coffee cold and drove out to Millersfield. The road there is long and lonely, lined with bare trees and telephone poles that lean like drunks. The fields were gray with frost, the kind of cold that bites bone. As I turned onto the gravel driveway, I saw the sold sign sticking out of the ground like a dagger. The sight punched the air out of my chest. Ellen's rose bushes were dead, tangled brown skeletons. The porch swing was missing one chain. The shutters clung to the house like old regrets. And still it was ours. I stepped out of the truck, gravel crunching under my boots, and for a moment I swear I could hear Ellen humming from the kitchen, her soft voice floating through the window. But when I opened the door, there was only silence. The house smelled like dust and time. My footsteps echoed off empty walls. Most of the furniture was gone, probably sold too, but in the corner of the living room under a sheet I saw something familiar. Ellen's piano. When I lifted the cover, my fingers brushed across the keys, rough with grime. A single note rang out, E-flat, stubborn and pure. The sound filled the room like a ghost remembering itself. That's when I knew. She could sell the house, but she wasn't going to sell my life. That night I stayed there, built a fire in the old brick hearth, sat on the floor with a can of beans and the radio humming static. I thought about Megan, young, cruel, impatient. I imagined her laughing as she transferred the money, maybe sipping wine in her high-rise kitchen, thinking she'd finally erased me. But she didn't know about the attic. The attic Ellen and I sealed off 30 years ago, the one no one else knew how to open. Up there, under loose boards and dust, were 2 things that still belonged only to me, a small wooden chest and a stack of letters tied with a red ribbon. The letters were from Ellen, written long after she was gone. Sounds impossible, I know, but Ellen was always clever. She written them for every year after her death so I'd never forget her voice. She made me promise to open one each anniversary. But I hadn't kept that promise, not since Patrick's accident. Now, sitting in that empty house, I opened one. The envelope trembled in my old hands. "My love," it began, "if you're reading this, you're still here. Good, you've always been stubborn, but don't you dare forget what we build is not wood or stone, it's memory, and no one can sell that from you." I laughed through the tears. Ellen always knew how to find me, even from the other side. That was when I heard the crunch of tires outside. A white SUV pulled up. A man in a suit stepped out, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Carson," he said, "I'm from Evergreen Realty. I'm here to finalize the sale before the new owners arrive next week." I smiled, "You're early." He frowned, "We just need access for inspection today, shouldn't take long." "Well," I said, "you're welcome to look around, but you might have a problem." He blinked, "What kind of problem?" I nodded toward the house, "It's haunted." He chuckled, "Sir, I'm sure." A soft piano note drifted from inside. E-flat. His smile faltered. I walked past him up the steps and into the living room, sat down at the piano, struck a few more keys. You feel that? I said quietly. That's her. This house remembers everything. He mumbled something about coming back later and hurried to his car. When he was gone, I laughed so hard it hurt. Over the next week, I got to work. Not to stop the sale, but to prepare it. I patched the roof, repainted the shutters, even replanted Ellen's roses with fresh soil. Every day I opened another letter. Each one told me something new about love, forgiveness, or the secret ways she'd hidden beauty in this place. By the time the new owners arrived, a young couple from the city, I wasn't angry anymore. I invited them in, showed them the orchard, the pond where Patrick learned to fish, the piano that still held Ellen's voice. They listened, really listened. Finally, the woman asked, "Would you be willing to tell us more about the history of this house? Maybe stay for a while. We'd love to keep some of its story alive." I looked at the walls, at the light slanting through the window, and I swear the air itself seemed to breathe easier. "I'd like that," I said. The next morning I called Megan. She answered on the second ring, sharp as ever. "What do you want?" "Just to say thank you," I said. "Excuse me. You sold the house, but you gave me back everything that mattered." She muttered something, confusion, maybe guilt, and hung up. I didn't mind. Some things you can't explain to people who have never loved anything long enough to lose it. That night I played Ellen's favorite song on the piano. The fire crackled, the roses brushed the window, and for the first time in years I didn't feel alone. The country house wasn't mine anymore, not on paper. But the memories, the laughter, the music, the love, they were carved deeper than ink or deed. So when I tell people now that my son's wife sold my house and called me a dumb old man, I just smile. Because that was the day I remembered who I really was. Not a dumb old man. Just an old man who still knew how to love a ghost. Word count ~1040 words. Would you like me to make this story more thriller-like with revenge or mystery elements, or keep this bittersweet and reflective tone for a sequel?